Hello once again, welcome to our e-learning for today. And for today's video, we're going to continue our lesson in how to write a problem solution essay, and this is part 2. Let's start. Okay, so if you remember, there are 3 parts of a problem solution essay, and I think you know them. So the format is the following. First, we have the first paragraph, or what we call the introduction. So what's inside the first paragraph or introduction? So first, here we're going to give the background of the problem. And finally, we're going to describe the problem. So in the first paragraph, you're going to write 2 to 3 sentences giving background or describing the problem. Next, after describing the problem, we go to the second paragraph, which we call the body. So in the body, we're going to write at least 2 to 3 solutions and give explanations or details. So here you're going to answer the question how. So if you have the problem and you're going to solve it, so how are you going to solve it? So you're going to give steps or examples of solutions, answering the question how are you going to solve it. So remember that. And finally, third paragraph. So the third paragraph is also known as the conclusion. So in the conclusion, you have only one thing to do, and that is to summarize your ideas, wrap up your ideas, and these are the things that you're going to do. So introduction, body, and conclusion. So we have 2 examples right now following this 3 paragraphs or format. So let's focus on the first example. So here the problem is fake news is everywhere. So this is the topic that imagine that you're going to write about. So let's go to the next slide. So here you can see the sample, and remember our topic, fake news is everywhere. So again, you have 3 paragraphs. So the first paragraph is what we call the introduction, and here you're going to write at least 2 to 3 sentences background of the problem, and you're going to describe the problem. So I have an example here of an introduction with the title fake news is everywhere. So here I started with a question. Do you believe everything you read in the internet or social media? So that's a background of the problem. Nowadays, people are confused between reality and fake news. Again, background of the problem. Now, describing the problem. There is a lot of tension in our world today because many people are believing more into fake news. So believing more fake news. So here you can see background and description of the problem. So you can see here that the problem is the rampant spread of fake news. So I think you know also the infodemic. So these fake news are actually is actually everywhere. Now we go to the second part, which is you're going to write at least 2 to 3 solutions and explain them using details, and you're going to answer the question how are you going to solve this. So the question is right now that we have a lot of fake news everywhere, what are the things that you're going to do as a simple student, or what are the things that you will recommend to the government or to a company or a group of people to solve this problem. So we go to the second part, which is the body. So you're going to add 2 to 3 solutions and explain them using details on how to solve the problem. Here you can see the first sentence. I have several steps to solve this issue. In solving this issue, first, the government should punish people who spread it. So that's your solution. And now you explain this first solution. They should take their credentials away and put them in jail. So this is a punishment. So again, this details supporting this first solution. Second, restrict the right to publish. So only trusted sites or companies should be given only this right. So that's another solution. So giving restriction to the right to publish, and this sentence here is supporting the idea of the second solution, giving more details. And finally, people should report fake news sites. If these sites are banned, fake news will decrease gradually. So as you can see here, you can find 3 solutions and details. So first, second, and finally. And I've given here, I wrote here some details supporting the ideas. Remember that. So you need to follow the correct format. And finally, we have to wrap up or summarize our own ideas or the conclusion. So in the conclusion, you're going to write your summary. So you wrap up all your ideas. So here you can see our world will become a better place. With a few laws and adjustments, the world will have real news only. So that's how to write a problem solution essay. Okay, so you can pause this video and copy the ideas here, or the parts, the paragraphs, and some examples here. Okay, so if you're done copying or taking notes, we can go to the next example. So the next example, the topic is pollution. So this is sample number 2. And again, we focus to the introduction. So in the introduction, you're going to write background of the problem, and then you're going to describe the problem. Here, I wrote a background and description of Earth and pollution as a problem. So the Earth is home to many plants and animals. The more it gets polluted, the less inhabitable it becomes. Pollution is one of the reasons why we have climate change and many diseases today. So as you can see here, we describe the problem and giving you the background of the problem. So you need to write just like this. Next, we go to the body. So you have written here a problem. Now we need at least 2 to 3 solutions and explanation or details on how to solve this problem. So remember, you can write the first sentence. I have several steps in solving or to solve this issue. First, governments of the world should allow only environment-friendly technology. So this is the first solution that you can actually give. Cars and factories that produce dangerous gases should be banned. So that's another supporting detail following up your first solution. Second, they should focus more on renewable energy. We can minimize pollutants by finding alternative resources of energy. So as you can see here, second solution and explanation, giving more details supporting the idea of the second solution. And finally, lower beef consumption. Cow industry is the biggest cause of greenhouse gases in the world. So as you can see here, finally, the solution, lower the beef consumption or eating beef, because as you can see here, cow industry is the biggest cause of greenhouse gases in the world. So in this body, you can see 3 solutions based from the transition words first. Don't forget to write transition words first, second, and the words finally. Or don't also forget use the words in my opinion, however, something like that. Now, finally, we go to the part where you're going to summarize your ideas or wrap up your ideas. So conclusion. So here it's very easy. You will write, we can have a cleaner and greener environment. With just a few steps, we can make our world pollutant-free once again. So you can see here an example of a problem solution essay. The problem is pollution, and the solutions are here, 3 solutions, and wrapping up the ideas in the conclusion. So that's the second example. So I've given you here first example, fake news is everywhere, and second example, pollution. So I think that it's enough. So to double check your writing, I want you to go to these things to remember. Remember to describe your problem clearly. Use transition words such as first, second, third, finally, however, nevertheless. In my opinion, if you're giving your opinion, write 2 to 3 solutions and details. Remember to write details. Support your solutions. Summarize your ideas. And if you need ideas, you can actually find ideas from the internet or read from your books. So I think that's the end of our lesson for today on how to write a problem solution essay part 2 with 2 examples. Thank you for watching and goodbye.